Well, what is up, everyone? It's been a while. Welcome to our Friday evening listening live stream. One moment here. I'm trying to get my... How do I get the chat up? Let's see. Studio mode? No, that's not it. How can I get the chat? This always happens to me. I always forget how to load the chat in here. I just need to know whether I'm talking into the void or not. One moment here. Trying to remember how I did that last time. I could view the chat in OBS. Oh, Lord. Okay, hang on 1 second. I'll put you guys in a brief hold, and I'll be right back.
In the stillness where shadows breathe, whispers echo secrets unseen, lost in the silence, a world unknown, where hearts speak in frequencies alone. Where hearts speak alone, hearts speak alone, hearts speak alone. Take me to the place where words cannot go, where the silence sleeps tonight. And if you growl back, it will break the speed of light. Break the speed of light. Break the speed of light. Where the moonlight fades in shades of blue, shadows dancing, hearts in tune, and the echoes pass where time stands still. Urge me, take me to the place where words cannot go, where the silence sleeps tonight. And if you crawl back, it will break the speed of light. Break the speed of light. Break.
All right. Sorry about that. It's been like a month and a half since we had a chat, or might have been 2 months since our last stream, something like that. I did get the chat up here, so I can see everyone in there. Yeah, looks like the stream connection's good. Let's see. Yeah, familiar names in the chat. Lots of familiar names here. Again, I apologize it took this long to get another chat out. I keep saying chat. Another stream out. I've just been like completely slammed with work. I think in the last month and a half, I mixed an entire 13-song album, 5 songs for another artist, and then a couple other projects, in addition to doing video production work, in addition to mixing the editing the mixing course. Cool. So let's jump right into this. Let's see. Let's go right here. There we go. And let's check out our submissions for today. As always, the way I do this is, or I guess my disclaimer up front, as always, is that the goal of this stream is simply to listen to your projects and give them constructive feedback, whether it be on the composition, the production, the mixing. Generally, I'll probably give you more mixing and production feedback than I will on songwriting. And, if at any point my criticism seems harsh, it's not because I'm trying to, I'm not trying to insult you. It's just I want, I'm saying what I would do if this were my track. What changes would I make to the track if it were my track? So let's just jump right back in here. Let's just refresh the page, see how many we have. Quite a few. And then we'll put these in order of submission. And we're going to start off with Check Pre from Aman Rai. And by the way, if you want to get in on these streams, typically what I do is when I have a stream, I'll post on my community page about the stream in advance. I'll post a link to upload your song. You just have to upload you have to create a free boombox.io account. The stream is not sponsored by Boombox, but I just find it the easiest way to get your submissions over to me. And also, like, I'm making a rule that I won't listen to anonymous submissions. So if you don't want to sign up for Boombox, but you still want to upload a track, I'm sorry, I can't. The only way I can see who you are is if you sign up for that free account. So yeah, let's jump right into it. We have Check Pre from Aman Rai. Let's give it a shot. So the first thing I'm hearing is the vocal doesn't seem like it has any or enough compression, because there's certain spots where I can barely kind of make out the vocal melody, and then other spots where it's really loud. So I think you need some sort of compression on the vocals just to level out the dynamics a bit. I'm not saying you have to make the dynamics flat or anything, but typically what I like to do is I use a two-stage compression trick where I'll use an optical compressor followed by a FET compressor. Some people do it the opposite way around. They'll do a FET compressor, then an optical compressor. But if you're a Logic user, the stock compressor in Logic does a great job of that. You can load one on, put it in opto mode, use that to sort of level out the dynamics. And if you think that, it's doing too much, what I always like to do is blend in the mix knob a little bit for parallel compression. So you're blending the dry signal with the wet signal a little bit. And then after that, I like to add a FET compressor that will sort of catch the little, not the clips, but catch the little peaks, catch the little transients in the vocal, because optical compression does a really great job of rounding out the overall dynamic. But if you've ever used like a real LA2 or LA2A, almost the start of every single phrase will have a little transient that comes up and then comes down. It's because those optical compressors have a slow attack time. Now, if you're looking for third-party plugins, I pretty much always either use hardware, but if it's like a backing vocal, I'll use like the Universal Audio LA2 compressor followed by something else like an 1176, or sometimes I'll just use like Nectar. I'll use the compressor in Nectar, and I'll use the analog circuit for that. So that's my main criticism of the vocal is it's too soft in some spots, not and then too loud. Well, I wouldn't say it's too loud in other spots, but it's not consistent enough. And I think you also need a little bit more top end in the vocal to kind of bring out the clarity. And maybe even a little more bottom end, just to kind of sculpt that vocal, because it seems a little dry and seems a little basic right now. The other thing I would do is I would maybe rethink your drum production, because you've got these big fat like snare drum sounds and it doesn't really match the genre. You've got like this heavy metal snare sound where if it's kind of this more easygoing light rock kind of track, maybe your drums need to be a little softer, a little, bring the dynamic down a little bit to match the rest of what's going on. But yeah, let's keep listening here. Okay, yeah, so it's a little weird because at the end you kick in the overdrive guitars for a bit, but then the rest of the song doesn't have that. I think that's a little weird, a little off-putting. Like if you're gonna bring in the drive guitars, I almost feel like it should be done at like a more climatic moment, like maybe where the guitar solo comes in. And speaking of guitars, I think all of the guitars could be beefed up a lot. I would also play around with some stereo panning, because in mono, it's very in mono it like I'm not hearing much of a difference between mono and stereo. Like I am hearing a difference, but I feel like you can play with the stereo field a bit more and really beef up your guitar tones. Like think about your vocal in the center, your kick and your snare in the center, but the guitars are big and wide and off to the sides. And I think if you do that, that might justify the heavier snare, production. Someone said that they can barely hear the kick. I can hear the kick in the soft sections, but yeah, definitely in the distorted section, the kick would need to come up. I just feel like there's like a, the vocals are not, don't have their dynamics rounded off enough. Guitars are not big enough, but then like the snare drum's like way out front, like in a metal mix or something. So I would I would think about those things. And you might be able to get away with the drums if you just kind of rebalance them a little bit different. And like I said, you bring those guitars up, and then that you may actually need to bring up the kick drum, or maybe the snare drum sits right in the mix. But right now it just seems very snare heavy to me, and everything else is kind of lacking. So okay, let's move on to the next one. Never Went Away from Crinkle Cut. Let's give it a listen.
You used to hold me like you loved me. It always seemed like such an honest lie. You used to hurt me in that special way. It always made me wanna cry. No, I don't wanna talk about it. There's no therapy for what I am. I found a way to get around it, a special trick that only I can stand. Words can't explain the loss, and the scars don't display the cost. The pain is what will always stay, because you never went away. The common ground we walk upon, it's only fertile when you're gone. If I was stronger, I could face the strange. Instead, I take my chances and I rearrange. Words can't explain the loss, and the scars don't display the cost. The pain is what will always stay, because you never went away. I read a book about a saint. Think it helped me along. She could write and she could paint. She was right, she was strong. She needed faith like a bird needs wings. To have pinned her, I'd give everything. Words can't explain the loss, and the scars don't display the cost. The pain is what will always stay, because you never went away. Sunny skies and heavy weather, inside my world they live together. I channel more than anyone should bear. I walk a never-ending road to anywhere. Words can't explain the loss, and the scars don't display the cost. The pain is what will always stay, because you never went away. No, you never went away.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I like the writing. I like the vocals. I I think the main issue for me mix wise is I think there's maybe a little too much top end energy in both vocals. I would either like try a de-esser or maybe even try like a dynamic EQ in the top end, just to kind of just not, it's almost too hyped, it hurts my ears a little bit on certain notes. And maybe on certain speakers it doesn't sound like that. And as I've told you guys before, there's a reason why I mix on Aventone CLA 10s, is because they give it that old Yamaha NS10 kind of sound, and it's overly hyped in the mid-range and top end. And so therefore, if you always mix below that threshold, like, you never have a harsh sounding mix. I would maybe tame that down a little bit. I think it's a bit much to me. I do like the layered vocal. And then there's something about the guitar, like the distorted guitar, that I don't like. I think it's distorted guitar, but like anytime I hear like a MIDI guitar, I can immediately tell, oh, that's a MIDI guitar. So if it's not MIDI guitar, I would maybe think about double tracking it, spreading it out nice and wide, and finding a little more of like a warmer amp tone. Because I think that would sound better. But I like the writing, I like the melody, I like the voices. Y'all are commenting on AI voice. I have no clue. I mean, some of them are so good nowadays that I can't really tell. Others I can very obviously tell. If I could show you guys the sheer volume of emails I get from companies trying to sponsor a video to have me review an AI voice plugin or app, you guys might be appalled. I don't do it because I personally don't. I'm not a big fan of AI voices. I'd much rather, like, I'm totally fine using an AI voice for a demo or something, but I'm not a huge fan of like releasing an AI voice recording on a record. But so I have no clue whether it's AI or not. Sounds real to me. Sounds tuned, but sounds real to me. Cool, good stuff. Let's move on to Second Chance, Logic X 2.0 from Tashad Noor. Updated version of a track I submitted a while back. Not a final mix yet. Still a work in progress, but would appreciate any feedback. Think of releasing it at the beginning of June 2025. Well, we're just in time. Let's give it a listen.
To show you second chance, a second chance to show you, a second chance to carry, a second chance to show you. To show you second chance, a second chance to show you, a second chance to carry, understand, and the power that can make me feel. I feel secure. I understand. I feel secure. A second chance to show you. A second chance to carry. A second chance. I feel secure. I feel secure.
Yeah, cool stuff as always, Tashad. Great writing, love the vocal. A couple of little minor things I would do. The main issue I'm hearing is there's like a mid consonant kind of I don't know what to call it. Like it's almost like the mid consonants, like on second chance two, like the ch and the k in second and the t in two, like all of those like mid range consonants. It's almost like it's like he's holding like an SM58 like right here and singing it. I don't think that's something that a de-esser can take out. I think maybe what you could do is try like another compressor on the lead vocal with a really quick attack, and that might grab some of those little transients. And also later on in the song, I was hearing a few little pops and clicks in the vocal, like that kind of stuff, you know, like, or like when it may even be gated out when I try to do it here, but like your tongue will sometimes like slap the bottom of your mouth, and that will cause a little click or a pop, or it can even just be like lips, you know, can cause that kind of popping and clicking. So it's not like, I'm not saying that there's like a problem with the audio. I would just say there's some little clicks and pops in the vocal that I would try to remove. I use RX11's D-Click and Mouth D-Click plugins. They're like a complete godsend for that kind of stuff. So I'd give that a shot. And I, you know, just personally, I'd like to hear the strings just up a touch, because they're almost like a melodic interlude. You know, I kind of want to maybe bring a little bit more of the focus to the strings. And then I'd pull the drum beat up a little bit too, but just like really all minor things. But the main thing is the mid-range consonants in the vocal. Find a way to maybe tame those down a little bit. Okay, cool. Let's move on. We are moving right along. So let's check out Nobody, mastered by Rob Fife. And let's give it a listen.
sacrifice. We're gonna hurt when we say goodbye, but you know, say goodbye, but you know, nobody knows, nobody knows. Waiting for so long, dreams come at you when you know they're gone. Love comes with sacrifice. We're gonna hurt when we say goodbye, but you know, nobody knows, nobody knows. It's just how it goes. Nobody knows.
Yeah, cool stuff. A couple little things. I do, yeah, some people are saying the like the drums and the bass. I really do love the drums and the bass in this too. I love the big round fat drum production, but kind of natural drum production. I like that, you know, I really do. The thing I would do with your drums, those with the kick, the snare, and the toms, I would add a little bit more top end energy. Think like 8 to 10K and higher, like just enough where when you hit the drum, you hear a little bit more top end transient, just to make it a little bit more defined. And you're just moving the transient from the mid range up to the top range just a little bit. I think the toms are slightly too loud. Not a ton, maybe pull them back just a little bit. Even in that, yeah, the snare drum was super fat on it, which I love. I like that bottom end snare sound. I would do that. I would maybe give the close mics on the kit a little more top end, maybe bring the toms down a hair, maybe even bring the kick drum up a touch. Bass line is great, but you're going to need to increase your guitars in order to make the guitars kind of keep up with the bass level. I think the guitars could be a lot more further up in the mix. I can hear that they're off to the side. They kind of disappear in mono, but if you bring those up a little bit, maybe vary the EQ on the left and right side, it might stand out a bit more. But that's pretty much it. The only thing I heard is one little mouth click in the vocal on the word "but you know." So similar thing to the last song where you've got to go through and either manually remove those things or use a plugin to sort of declick them a bit. So yeah, good stuff. And someone's asking, yes, we can listen to music from any genre. It doesn't matter. If you're sending something in to just troll me, though, I'm probably not going to listen to it. Okay, so let's go to Esuntak, Same Sky. Very happy the live is back, and thank you so much. I appreciate any kind of feedback, and I'd love to hear some about the low end because I only use headphones with a flat EQ. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's give this a listen. Same Sky. Yeah, really cool sound design. I love the like all the textures of all the synths at the beginning and the end. It's also ambient while still being mono compatible, which is great. Um, my main critique here, you had asked about the bass. I would say overall the bass level is probably okay, but I personally, like at least in this room with my sub, I feel like it's maybe a hair too loud. I would maybe tame it back just a little bit. The other thing I was gonna, here it is. I would either rethink the snare sample or layer up the snare with some additional samples. Because when the snare first comes in, it almost sounds like a rim tap, you know, like a rim tap with a little bit of the head in there. And so it I don't know, it doesn't, I'm not saying it doesn't fit. It's just in that moment, I'm like, is that a rim tap or is that a real, you know, single stroke drum hit? I would maybe consider layering up the snare with an additional like acoustic snare sample. And then definitely in the big parts where you've got that kind of like disco beat going on, I would maybe even layer in a clap there just to, and you know, just try to make it like a really tight in your face disco beat. Taming back the bass there will also help because it'll make some room for like the kick to come through. And then just a compositional idea, you know, you can take it or leave it. Maybe in those disco beat sections, maybe some open hi-hat, you know, doot, cut, doot, cut, stoot, cut, doot, cut, stoot, you know, something like that, just to break up the beat a little bit. But yeah, overall, good. The mix is good. The sound design's good. Main thing is just that snare and the bass. Would love to hear what it sounds like with some vocals on it too. So, okay, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Let's move on to Fucking Rave by Psycho. Let's give it a listen. Yeah, first one is I think there's a click track in the mix. I think it's just buried in there that we don't hear it, unless that's like one of the percussion instruments. But right here, it sounds exactly like the stock Logic click. And by the way, like if you haven't noticed, for some reason, like in one of the last couple of Logic updates, the click track is always on by default, which is really annoying. I wish they wouldn't do that. Instead of being off by default. But yeah, I mean, look, you're filtering out the bass in certain sections intentionally to sort of like taper things down, and then you get to a drop and you're bringing the bass in, so that's effective. I feel like, you know, with a lot of this type of genre that I get, I know it's a genre-based thing and a genre-specific thing, but it seems a little repetitive to me. Like I would like to hear like another section. And it's only 303, so you've got some room to grow there. Maybe like a bridge section or a breakdown section or something that just that contrasts the rest of the track, you know, just so it doesn't get too samey. Another minor thing, the sidechain ducking in a couple of the spots, like I especially noticed it like here, and it might be like that throughout the whole track, but the sidechain ducking seems like it's a little bit off for some reason. So maybe if you're doing it like the traditional way with the compressor, maybe play with the attack and release time a little bit and see if that helps, or maybe even just double check and make sure your kick drum is like in the right spot, you know. So yeah, those are my main that would be my main criticisms here. Let's see. How often do I do the streams? So I used to do them every week. Now that we're not sponsored anymore, I'm gonna try to do them at least once a month. But yeah, like toward the like if I have another month like last month, like where I just don't have any time for a stream to do a stream, so they kind of just come when I have time to do it. I'll try to do at least one per month, and like I said, I'll post about it in my community page a few days in advance so you can get your track uploaded. Okay, let's go to Long Drive Home by Music Man and Demo 8. Let's give it a listen.
Here we go again, cruising through a time warp rift. Space-time continuum drift, drifting in this light. Driving speeds unrestrained, and faster than fate could arrive. Forming quantum ripples as we ride.
Yeah, I like the songwriting. I like the vocal. I like the vocal melody. I like the songwriting. Did I already say that? I like the beat. I'd add a little more top end to the lead vocal, but I think the main issue overall is that the mastering limiter is too loud. Needs to come way back. It's almost like it was mastered like at like -6 LUFS or something. I mean, my general rule with mastering limiters is I don't shoot for a number necessarily, but like when you see like, a streaming platform like Spotify saying, they'll say -14, but that's not what you want to shoot for. You don't want to shoot for -14. That would be very, very quiet. But you also don't want to shoot for way above that, right? I think of the loudness standards that they give as like a minimum loudness standard. But you also shouldn't shoot to have it so loud that things become unclear. And, I most of the time when I work with clients, I explain that to them, they kind of understand, or I'll send them 2 different versions, one where it's just really freaking loud and one where it's not. And they're like, oh yeah, I hear what you're saying. Other time, on a few occasions I've had clients try to fight with me about this, but it's like, I know everyone else does it, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it. And also the other thing too is the more layers you have in your track, the more like stuff is going on, the harder it is to get a really, loud mix, a really loud master. Like most rock mixes, as soon as I throw the loudness meter on there, without adding any gain in the limiter, they're already at like -12, -11 sometimes. So in a lot of cases, my limiter on those types of mixes are only being pushed up like 2 or 3 dB, and then I'm doing a -1 true peak on top, and then maybe I get to -10, maybe I get to -9. If the artist really wants to push it, I'll go up to like 8. But I haven't heard a mix at -8 LUFS that necessarily sounds good to me. I almost can always, like beyond -8, I can almost always hear a loss in clarity. Also, the other thing you'll notice too is if your master is really loud, changing something like adding a little EQ here or making a little, 2-3 dB change, you're almost not going to hear it because you're just pushing something up in a mix, and then you're just just cutting it off at the top with the limiter anyway. And so that's the sort of the natural dynamics you have to kind of keep in order to maintain that sort of balance between loudness and clarity. Also, another thing I would consider too is I would consider maybe pushing more energy to the bass and to the treble and a little bit less energy in the mids, because I guarantee you, if you go back to your project and you take the limiter off, the mix balance probably sounds great. But then you crank the limiter, the more you crank that limiter, the more added bass and treble you're going to have to add in order to maintain equal loudness. So I would, if you're going to master really loud, I would try to find another plugin to put in front of the limiter that can sort of shape the mid-range a little bit. I mean, you can do it with just like a linear phase EQ if you want. Boost the low end, boost the high end, and drop the gain a little bit. I use a plugin called Gulfos. It's kind of expensive, but it does a really cool like sort of mid-range contour for mastering, so I can make sure that my track going into the limiter has a little more bass and a little more top end, so that when it hits a hard limiter, that it doesn't just sound like a wash of mid-range and the bass and treble are lost. So yeah, good songwriting, just mastered way too loud, in my opinion. Oh, I see what you're saying. You uploaded another one, demo 10. Well, let's listen to a little bit of this. Let me jump in like halfway through and let's see if the mastering level's a little better. Was that in the original? I'll listen to a little bit of the front end and then I'll listen to the back end just so we can get an idea of what your next revision sounded like. Yeah, this is like a lot better. This is a much better. I'd still say a little more top and maybe a little more mid range in the vocal to kind of bring out the vocal clarity a bit. The drums, especially the kick and snare, seem a little more distant, but the mastering level here, that like the limiter level, is much better. I'm gonna just jump to the end here.
Make us try turn the tides on our dreams. Watch our dreams come alive when a fire ignites together. Never alone on this long drive. Dreams come alive when a fire ignites together. Never alone on this long drive.
Yeah, now that the limiter's not like cranked, I feel like we're revealing more details in the song that maybe we didn't hear earlier. Like there's like these snaps that are like on like I think you've got the snare on like 3. I think it's like 1, 2 snare or 1. So I would maybe align those snaps with the snare. You have some room now to pull up the bass more. I would pull up the bass more. Like I said, the kick and snare seem a little too distant, and a little more top end in the vocal. But yeah, this is much better than the other one in terms of the mastering level, the loudness. Okay, cool. Let's check out Foreign Car by John Houlihan. Let's give it a listen.
She drives a foreign car. It's real nice. It's got fuel injection in its cool as ice. Well, move over, buddy, 'cause she's coming through. I got news for you, pal. Ain't nothing you can do. Out on the road, I
So main issue here for me is I'd say needs more bass. Yeah, I can barely hear the bass. The kick drum is driving my sub more than the bass is. I think you have the opposite problem of the last track, where I think you have some room here where you could actually push your final limiter a little bit more. It doesn't even look limited. It doesn't look like you've pushed the loudness at all. And I'm not saying you have to go ham with it, but I'd add a little bit more, and you could probably do this on the master channel or on the stereo output. Add like a linear phase EQ, increase the bass and the sort of the mid-range bass, like the stuff like lower than, 300 hertz or so. Just be careful right around 300 hertz, because you may end up with something that sounds a little boxy sounding, but it needs a little more roundness in the bass, I think. And then I also think that, like I said, I think you could probably push the master limiter a bit. And if you really wanted to go crazy, if you have Logic and you have an M1 or Apple Silicon chip, try out Chroma Glow. It's actually a pretty decent saturator plugin. You just don't want to use it at 100%. But it can really give the whole song a lift. And then that's going to give you some more volume going into the limiter, so you don't have to push the limiter as hard as well. But yeah, I think your mix balance overall is good. Like in terms of clarity, it's very clear. I can hear almost everything that's going on just fine. But a little more bass, maybe a little more limiting, maybe a little more saturation. Just needs a little bit of a lift to it. But otherwise, good playing, good songwriting, good performance. Cool. Let's here's what we're gonna do. It's 7:04. We got to Foreign Car. Test is just something I uploaded to test something. So we got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am going to do 1, 2, 3. Well, we already listened to Long Drive Home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. The Police, Every Breath You Take. Sorry, can't play it. If I play that song, my channel will just get completely wiped out. So I'm gonna take a quick break, like 4 or 5 minutes. I'll be right back, and then we're gonna listen to the rest of these, going all the way down to Alexander Lindo. If we have a little extra time, Alexander, I'll listen to your second one as well. Unfortunately, Zigzag, I can't do covers. I can't do covers by bands that will completely eradicate my channel, unfortunately. All right, so quick break. Just going to go get a refill, go take a little bathroom break, let the dogs out, and I will be right back.
In the stillness where shadows breathe, whispers echo secrets unseen, lost in the silence, a world unknown, where see your face from dusk till dawn until my heart explodes. Don't wanna let it go. Take me to the place where words cannot go. Where the silence lives tonight. And if you come back here, break the speed of light. Take my hand, hold it tight. The silence lives tonight. And if you come with me, we'll break the speed of light. 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 With the moonlight fades and shades of blue. Break the speed of light. Break the speed of
Okay, we are back and out of focus. 1 second here. Whoops, that probably didn't help either. Okay, well, we're just going to be out of focus for the rest of the video. Really quick, I'll answer a couple questions here too. Let's see. Is let the dogs out a euphemism for something? No, I actually have 2 dogs and they are very needy. Wesley, yeah, when I get to state of mind while I play, please play Nobody's Talking instead. Yeah, let me refresh the page here. We'll do, let's see. Instead of state of mind, Nobody's Talking. Okay, I'll do that instead. Oh, don't forget about my camera battery. So I finally, it only took me 6 months or 7 months, but I finally bought a dummy battery so I just plugged the camera into the wall now. I don't even have to worry about the battery anymore. Really, really, really quick, if you guys will humor me for just a moment so that I can do a little bit of just housekeeping for the channel. Just a reminder that the Music Tech Help Guy YouTube channel is 100% viewer funded now. As many of you guys know, earlier this year, I made the decision to make the channel sponsor free. So you'll never see a sponsor segment on the channel again. The only ads you'll see are like YouTube ads, like the standard YouTube Google ads. And as you've probably heard from maybe other YouTubers you subscribe to, revenue is way down these days. I'm probably making 1/5 of the amount of money today that I was making, 4 years ago from YouTube. So what that means is the way the channel stays up is through three things, really. 1, my own self-funding. 2, you guys pitching in with super chats when you can, and when you guys do that, and if you guys have done that, thank you so much for that. And 3, probably the best way to directly support the channel is to purchase one of my courses over at my website, logicproguide.com. I just put out a new mixing course just last week, and while all of my courses will always be free on the YouTube channel, if you want access to additional content in the course, like demo projects, multi-tracks, in the mixing course, I give the multi-tracks to the song demo projects for every lesson, and I even include like a drum sample library that you can use for sample replacement. It was a sample library that I made myself. Well, I had a drummer with me, but I recorded it myself at a studio with like $20,000 worth of microphones. So a big thank you to everyone who's already, supported in one way or another. And if you can't afford to buy something, that's totally fine. Like I say all the time, you'll never get any sales pressure from me. If you just like the channel, subscribe, share my content. That's already a huge help. But if you want to dive a little bit deeper and get more out of some of these courses, you can check them out over at logicproguide.com. Okay, so let's get back in to some mixes here. Let's go. So where were we? We were at Foreign Car. So let's check out Aton's Where's the Moon? Hey, Josh, been a minute since I've been on your stream. Hope you're doing well. Anyhow, this is very rough. I just started mixing. Mix suggestions are welcome, but also please comment on the composition and sound choices. Awesome. Will do. Let's give it a shot.
When I saw the sunset in your eyes, all I wanted was your light in my life. As the sun went down and the stars came out, my hopes up to forever that night. But the heavens stole you from me. My grief is the price of living with dreams. Where's the moon? Who stole your star from the sky? Lost too soon. Without you, there is no light in my life. Now as I gaze into the night, I know somewhere a star's burning bright, waiting patiently for me to see the sunrise in a new lover's eyes. Till then I will search the night for a sign of your everlasting light. Where's the moon? Who stole your star from the sky? Lost too soon. Without you, there is no light in my life. My soul aches for you. My heart cries for you. Come to me. Where's the moon? Who stole your star from the sky? Lost too soon. Without you, there is no light in my life. Where's the moon? Who stole your star from the sky? Lost too soon. Without you, there is no light in my life.
Yeah, some people are saying that's an AI vocal. It doesn't sound like an AI vocal. That's just maybe a little too much chorus and modulation or something on there. It sounds like you have a fantastic singer. What I would say is that I would say more reverb on the vocal, less modulation in chorus. But I would also bring up the instrumentation quite a bit, because the vocal seems really on top of the track. So I would either pull down the vocal, add a little reverb, tame back the chorus and modulation to touch, or bring up the instrumentation to match the vocal. But yeah, otherwise I think it sounds great. I just wish I heard more of the instrumentation. You know, it seems like the vocal is way out front and center, and the track is sort of like a second thought. So good writing though. Great melodic writing. Let's move on to Long Drive Home. We already listened to New Stigma from Luna Gush, a goth dark wave track using a cool synth line from my friend. All right, let's give it a listen. I mean, look, I really love the sound design of it all. I love the composition of it. As an instrumental, the mix sounds pretty good too. One thing I would maybe try to do is, it's only 3 minutes long. I think you have some room to maybe bring back in a bigger section here, because it's almost like it's like front heavy, like it's like the most exciting stuff is like here. But then here it kind of just tails out. I almost feel like after this tail, you could maybe add another section and then bring back whatever your chorus idea is. Mix is good. I like the composition. I love all the cool 80s, sound design. I would just love to hear what this sounds like with the vocal on it, Just trying to answer some questions here. Yeah, I mean, these days I don't really... I try not to question whether something is AI or not, because then you get yourself in this mindset of you're just like, I don't know. To me, the end result is the most important thing. I used to have the mindset of like the journey is more important than the end result. But for me, these days, it's like whatever gets me to the end result is the most important. And if it's believable, some of these AI voices I can't even tell, so I don't even bother trying, to tell whether they are AI or not. But it is what it is. Wesley asks, have you mixed and mastered for film and found the engineering required much different set of parameters to make it work in the film with dialogue instead of purely a pop tune, which is all audio? I mean, look, whoever you're working for is going to have like a certain, they're going to dictate what they want. Usually, like, you're not going to limit it. If you're composing like a score or something like that, the sound, the mix engineer is most likely going to do all of that work. But they're not going to mix your whole track for you either. I've also had situations where like they want stems so they can mix the stems in the film. So I always try to mix in a way where where it's very easy for me to stem out the drums, the bass, the synths, the vocals, etc. Have I done a lot of film mixing? No, I have done very, very little film mixing. I think I've got like 2 film mixing credits. And they were both like, cheesy Hallmark movies. And I didn't even mix the whole thing. I just mixed like one track in those films. I did do some work for like TV. I did some work for the Jimmy Fallon show a couple of years back, but that was a musical skit that they did. So it was just like mixing anything else. So, and actually I didn't even do the mixing. I did more of like the vocal production and the editing and stuff. So, okay, cool. Let's keep going. So we were in, let's see, we did New Stigma. Eitan, I'm going to skip you for now, but because I want to make sure we get through some other ones. But if we have some time at the end, I'll listen to this one as well. If not, resubmit it next week. So Wesley said, don't listen to State of Mind, listen to Nobody's Talking. So let's listen to Nobody's Talking. Nobody's Talking by Wesley.
Nobody's talking about you. Your lips are moving. Nothing's coming out. Your tongue is flapping. Your logical meds. Turn off the TV. You all go crazy. You've got your TV. You've got your logic. But you can't see my eyes. No, you can't see my eyes. No, you can't see my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I like the arrangement and the composition. It reminds me of some of the more fusiony, kind of like early like Toto stuff almost. I think your hi-hats are way too out front. I'm not hearing nearly enough of the kick, snare, and toms in the mix. It's almost like I'm hearing a lot of hi-hat, and then all the rest of the drums are like an afterthought. So I would pull those all like way forward. The vocals are like very pointed, very, very intentional. And there's like different effects jumping around with the vocals, and that's totally fine. I think the vocals need to line up with the rhythm a little bit better, because there's some spots where they're not quite lining up, and it's very noticeable. If it was this big, like kind of lush, rubato, soaring vocal melody, you can kind of get away with a few like timing inconsistencies. But like, the here it's very pointed, very rhythmic. So I would make sure those things are lined up a little bit better. I'd also bring up the bass a bit. It's very synth and guitar forward, and I'd pull up the vocals a little bit as well. So very interesting, very fusiony kind of track. But I really think the drums, the close mics on the drums, need to come way up to kind of better establish the groove and the beat and everything. So, all right. Yeah, and every time you talk about AI, everyone's got an opinion. Look, I mean, I say use AI for what you can use it for, but I don't rely on it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll open up Chat GPT and I'll be like, hey, here's a verse I wrote, and there's one line missing. Give me some lines that kind of rhyme, and it'll give me some lines, and none of them are good. None of them sound good to me. But I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll pick that word, and then from that I can piece things together. That's kind of how I use AI to help me like write lyrics and stuff. But it's never something where I'm like, hey, I need this type of track, just spit it out. Like almost every AI app I've seen never does a great job the first time. You can give it directions, and you can kind of use it. You can kind of use it as a tool, to assist you. But I'm not a big fan of like AI vocals or AI instruments. I would also agree that I have never heard a MIDI guitar. I've never heard a MIDI guitar, or I don't know about AI guitar, but I've never heard a MIDI guitar instrument that sounds right to me. That almost every single time I can pick out a MIDI guitar, and I assume that's what AI guitar would sound like. I don't know. I just try to do my job. I try to write my music and not worry so much about how other people are writing their music. Okay, let's go to. So we got Nobody's Talking, and then we're skipping State of Mind. Okay, so Alexander, I'm gonna listen to. Let's see. Did you say there was one in particular you wanted? I remember seeing your name pop up here. Let's see. All right, Alexander, I'm going to listen to the Take This Pain Away, and I'm going to probably have to skip I Will Not Fail, but feel free to submit it another day. Take This Pain Away by Alexander Lindo.
Here I am, trapped in this emotionless world, where they'll fight to tear us apart. They try to rip you, crush you, destroy you, intimidate. But they can't, no they can't. Take this pain
one another. When we should all care for each other. Take this pain away from me. Eliminate all that deceives me. Take this pain away from me. Let us recreate a world that was meant to take this pain away from me. Eliminate all that deceives me. Take this pain away from me. Let us recreate a world that was meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, I really love the vocal. I think you're a really good singer. If it's not AI, which I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to even start the argument. But it seems like the biggest issue for me. And let me just double check and make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing here. Yeah, to me it sounds like the entire song is an intro. You know what I mean? Like you get like to here, and then your snare drum comes in. I would bring your snare drum in, like, you know, you could have your intro, maybe like a more subdued verse without the snare, but then like somewhere in here, that's where you bring in your drum beat, and then you use the drum beat to to apply some variation too, because you can change up the beat, you can change up the fills, you can change up the pattern, whatever you want to do. But it's a really good vocal melody and a really good sounding vocal, but it's just the arrangement doesn't get to the point soon enough. That would be my main comment. Someone had also mentioned not liking the delay. I didn't think it was too bad, but what you can do is you can do like what's called like a dynamic delay effect, where you create a send off of the lead vocal, and then you put the delay on that aux track, but then you put a compressor after the delay, and then you feed the lead vocal into the compressor as a sidechain input. So when you're singing, the delay is like so low in the mix you don't really hear it. It just seems like a little bit of like an ambiance under it. But then when there's a gap in between the vocals, that's where the delays come forward. So like when you're not singing, the sidechain ducking kind of comes up and lets the delay through, and then when you're singing, it closes it again. So it's almost like a partial gate for your delay. So I would consider maybe doing something like that. Wesley says, I hear a common problem was using string libraries. Yeah, I mean, I think all string instruments are pretty difficult to get right. I mean, other than like piano, like that's a different type of string instrument. But I always find that violins are really hard to get right. Guitars are really hard to get right, only because it's kind of buried in the mix or under guitars. Like bass, you can kind of fake it with like a MIDI bass, but like I use string libraries all the time. You almost have to write for the library. You know what I mean? Like don't try to make the library do more than it's capable of doing based on what kind of realism it actually contains. All right, cool stuff. Let's go to. Sorry, police, we can't do this one. Nobody's talking. We already did that one. Okay, I'm going to listen to Weird Music's Hard Life, and I'm going to listen to Zigzag's Phantom of Love, and then we're going to call it a day. Okay? So Hard Life, Weird Music. Something Old just added the singing. Don't know about the singer, though. Hope you can comment on the balance of the mix. Thanks. All right. Hard Life. Let's give it a listen. Yeah, I mean, I like the melody. I like the. I'd say like this song. It's like almost too bare bones. I like the melody. I like the vocal. The vocal's very mid rangey, so you're gonna need to like really bring up some of the top end to bring out the clarity of the words and the air. I would say it's also very like center dense. I would maybe pull some of your guitars out to the sides. One of the things about the guitar I don't like is like the tone. I'm not really sure. It's almost like it's on the right side more than the left side, but it's like normally like guitar tones. I have like a 1 to like 3K sort of boost for like just for like clarity, but like the top end, it's almost like fuzzy or something. Like I'm hearing like a fuzz in there, but it's like I don't know. There's just something off-putting about the guitar tone that I think is bugging me, and I think if you sort that out, I think it'll like fix a lot of other issues too. The I would beef up the production on almost everything. I would say give the drums a lift, give them some more top end, sort out the guitar tone, get the vocal in the center and kind of get the rhythm guitars off to the sides. And then, maybe give the vocal a lift. The vocal maybe needs a little more compression, a little more top end as well. So that's the main thing I'm hearing. It just kind of seems very mid-rangey, very samey, like you're not exploring the full frequency range that you could and the full, image that you could. So that's what I would do with it. All right. Lastly, we are going to check out Phantom of Love from Zigzag. Let's go. It's a little one. 158. Short one.
I want you to feel me day and night. Be the one I feel what's right. I can be a shadow wherever you want me. The phantom of love, can't you see? I'll never be taking a step back. All phantoms are just around. Our love unstoppable, thrilling attack. Together we'll conquer the ground. Phantom of love, eternally we'll dance in this symphony of hearts. Take a chance. I'll be your phantom, your guiding light. Hold on tight, let's soar to new heights. Hold on tight, let's soar to new heights.
Oh, I see. Maybe that was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to cut off that soon. I mean, look, my main critique here is I like the vocal melody. I think the vocals sound good, and I think the vocal melody is good. I would say it's just very mid-rangey. It's the beat and the instrumental is very stuffy. Like it sounds like a 90. It almost sounds like a rip of like a 90s house track or something. And there's like no stereo information in the track. Like when I switch over to mono, when I toggle my mono button, I don't hear any difference. So it's mono. I would say that if the beat is actually a rip from another song, I'd say create your own beat, or use this as like a placeholder to come up with your own thing. If it's not, I would say don't be afraid to play with the stereo image. Get things off to the sides. Play more with the top end and with the bottom end, because it all sounds really kind of stuffy and mid-rangey. You know what I mean? But I do like the vocal. I just think I think that the beat needs to be kind of expanded out. You know, don't be afraid to use the space, the digital space that you have. Oh man, I'm way out of focus still. Hang on, real quick. Let's see if the autofocus. Come on, autofocus, you can do it. I believe in you. Well, my autofocus doesn't. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes I have to trick it to working with me. Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to AI stuff, I'll tell you guys the same thing I've said before. I have no problem using AI as a tool to assist me in composing or whatever it is. You know, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a script that I've written and I won't like the way like a phrase or like a paragraph is worded, and it just doesn't flow right. And so I'll pop it in Chat GPT. I'll say, hey, make this paragraph flow better so it reads better, and it'll give me suggestions. And most of the time I don't find myself using its suggestions, but I might pull a little nugget here and there, to assist me. And so I'm okay with AI as like an assistive tool, but almost everything I've heard that's AI music and that's generated by AI it always sounds incomplete. It never sounds right to me. And while it is good, I still don't think that we're going to be like replacing, we've already replaced musicians with MIDI and electronic music. And I don't mean that as necessarily a bad thing. Only if you're like just an old boomer rocker guy that only likes boomer rock music, are you going to think that. I have no problem with electronic music. But yeah, I say use AI as a tool to assist you in your process, or don't. It's completely up to you. But just, the idea of just generating a vocal and sticking it in a song and use it and passing it off as your own work is almost like, I don't know, sampling a Rembrandt or something, and then passing it off as your own. But that's also been done in other types of work. So, I don't know. I just, I don't hate it. I don't like most of it, to be honest. But it is what it is. And we have to kind of navigate around this. No matter what whether we want to or not, we have to navigate around it, and at least be familiar with it, even if you don't use it, just so you can pick it out. So, all right, cool. Zigzag, hey, next time maybe put a whole bounce in there. I think we only got the first half of your song. I think we're missing the end of your song. But my comments were basically it's very mid-rangey. There's no stereo information. Play with the stereo image a bit more. It's very mid-rangey. The beat's kind of stuffy. So I would play around with that. All right, guys. That's going to be it for today. I don't know if we're going to have a stream next week. Honestly, probably not. Because I'm still busy with work, but probably at some point, maybe first or second week of June. Actually, no, it definitely won't be first week of June. We are going to see Metallica, next week, the first week of June. So, probably looking at second week of June for our next stream. And as always, again, if you want to support the channel directly, the best way to do it is to buy one of my courses over at logicproguide.com. Remember, you get all of the demo content and multi-tracks that you won't get on YouTube. You can watch all the courses for free, but you can actually get them in advance. Right now we're only on like part 10 or 9 of the mixing course. All 24 parts can be accessed early if you want to get on that. You can purchase the course. You'll get all the demo projects, the multi-tracks, etc. All right, guys, take it easy, and I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Be safe. Watch out for those AI vocalists. They're coming to get you. Take it easy, guys. See you later. Bye.